Good morning, everyone. My name is Halmar, and man, have I got a review for you. This episode was excellent. It didn't tickle my lower funny bone like the last one did, but the episode Our Answer for Everything has set us along the final stretch of track for this series. First off, the biggest thing in this episode is obviously that Wilfred has pretty much sunk his hooks into the soul of Snowpiercer. He made a misogynist defect. Kevin, who turns out to be alive, is now kneeling before the great Mr. Wilfred again, and with Pastor Logan's loyalty, everything just fell into place. Speaking of Pastor Logan, I was right. 2 reviews ago, I said that Logan may have been the one, to cause all the ruckus on Snowpiercer, and that he was going to be the one that would be plotting and scheming for the benefit of Wilfred. And oh boy, does it feel good to be right. On the topic of Wilfred, he is shown to be far more cunning in this episode. The first of which is that he planned to make Kevin slit his wrist. He kept Kevin alive specifically to turn misogyny to his side. He played a massive game to make massive passive game to make Snowpiercer destroy itself without even attacking once. And when it comes to Big Alice and Snowpiercer, he truly acquired control as soon as he coupled with his Dreamliner, and he even fooled me all this time. All this time, I thought he was a random, untamed, doing whatever he wanted kind of villain who only wanted to do work for the short-term plays, especially when it came to misogyny. But all this time, he's been moving chess pieces in just the right ways to make Layton's rule crumble to the ground. When he was really serious when he said that his plans were a surprise and a mystery that must unfold for the others to watch. However, even though this episode did lack in lore, it did have a little bit from Wilfred's past with that one traitor woman who knew him from when he was a little boy and a young man, and her red candle ritual spreading all across Snowpiercer to signal their loyalty to Mr. Wilfred was overwhelming, to say the least. Like, I'm pretty sure that was most of the train lighting up a candle. I especially liked all just seeing people just blowing up. Everything's just blowing up in Andre's face, because despite as much as he's trying to keep control of the train, it's not working. And seeing everyone more than willing to freeze his limbs off was more than surreal. I liked how everyone was trying to freeze Layton's arm off. I liked how it was a tipping point for Ruth, nearly pushing her over the edge as she felt immense guilt for taking Winnie's mother from Winnie and the rest of the tale. It was truly really just a touching scene to see Ruth unwilling to let others commit the same crimes that she did just because they could. All seems lost on Snowpiercer. Even Rose seems to have his faith shaken, as when we get to see his wife and daughter for the first time, yay for that. The family is also a lot younger than I thought. He says that he's not exactly sure about lighting a candle for supporting Wilfred. Now that may seem good, but he's not sure, which means that he's considering supporting Wilfred. And everything that's happened over the past few months, it seems that Wilfred has sunken into him as too, and the doubts that Ruth had are now shifting into Roche's mind. However, there is still hope. Even as Audrey becomes who she seemingly always was and Kevin is turned into a blank slate slave, there is still hope on Snowpiercer. Well, technically on Big Alice. Wilfred has been crushing down his crew, especially Alexandra, for far too long. I know I've said it would be a bit too cliche for Alex to be the one to tip the tables from Wilfred to freedom before, but I do think the proper character development has been made for that to change. I think Alexandra, among many of the crew of Big Alice, aren't going to stand for what's going on, and I think in the coming episodes there's going to be a great war to break out, a heated battle to slow the two trains as they come close to picking up Melanie, but all will fail, and they will pass by Melanie, which will seal Wilfred's control of his two engines eternal forever. I don't think Ruth's influence counts for much anymore. I think it's a little late for Layton to count on that. It is good to see that she might finally be less than supportive of Wilfred's dominion after realizing all the pain it caused and will cause. This truly is the beginning of the end for the two trains. I don't know what else to say about it, but this really is where the revolution ends. A few honorable mentions that I quite liked a lot for this episode was that they built a little bit more on the main group of tailies that isn't Layton or Lights. It's not much, but I always love seeing the last Australian Strongboy and the others doing their best to protect themselves and the other tailies as the storm sets in. One last thing involving side characters was Till and Osweiler. LJ is probably irredeemable at this point, although Oz does seem to be leaving a positive impression on her. But on the topic of Oz and Till, I don't think their partnership ended in Season 1. At least not if Oz becomes a full Wilfred believer. And even if he does, I think Osweiler might make a redemption of some sort. Sure, he's not a good character, it's not that he's a bad character, it's that he's not a good person. He might just become a better one. That might just be my hopes for all the characters talking, but that's just me. Even in real life, I always want redemption for others, and Snowpiercer's no exception. I'd love to see Ruth, Oz, LJ, and Wilfred himself to become better people, even if they're still evil. It's probably helped the fact that that this is all a sci-fi TV show, so evil deeds carry a bit